Welcome back, guys, to part 2 of my tier ranking anime list of all the animes that I have ever seen, from a tier list consisting of must watch, recommend, the 3 episode rule, no, and why did I watch. Before we start the video, please like, subscribe, share so you don't miss out on all things anime and all the new anime content I'm going to be putting out. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, in the last video, I did 5 animes that I basically have seen from the beginning. Obviously, not from the beginning, but the 5 that we were starting. I realized, looking back at my whole entire catalog of animes in the archives, I have seen a lot of animes, a lot. So if I just do 5 for every video, this video series is going to be dragged on for a while. So I'm going to be boosting it up to 10 anime for today's video. So I picked out 10 anime from my anime watch list, from the archives of all the animes that I've seen. So without further ado, let's start with number 1 listed here is an anime called Arte. Arte is an anime that I watched years ago. I want to say it was probably like during the pandemic. I watched this anime. It basically follows the story of a young girl who wants to be an artist. Obviously, during that time frame, it's not socially accepted for a woman to be anything other than a housewife, a maid, anything that you can think of that falls under the stereotype of a woman. That is what a woman should be in that the time frame. She wanted to break out of that mold because of her passion for art. I believe she was going to be married off. Obviously, she comes from royalty. She was going to be married off. She did not want that in her life. She didn't want an arranged marriage, obviously with no love. Obviously, who does? So she basically communicated that to her father, her mother. Eventually was able to leave, but she had to basically, not separate herself from her family, but she had to basically drop her nobility status. And she went out and ventured off to be an artist. She eventually met a man who took her in after several tries and basically took her under her wing. And, it's a nice, beautiful story. It's a nice, beautiful story about her progression, her character development from this nobility status, but obviously wanting to, break out of that barrier and become someone on her own, forge her own path through art. So this one is called Arte. I definitely recommend it for you guys. I definitely recommend it. Definitely was a good watch. And then from there, we're going to go to... Ooh, here we go. The Night in the Area. This is a soccer anime. It is a soccer anime that I believe has 37 episodes. I watched this one like in 2019, I believe. It was, from what I remember, a really good anime. Bit tragic in the beginning. 2 siblings. I don't want to... you know what? It happens in the first episode. Always, it's like one of those tragic where, like, in the first episode, there's this prodigy older brother, really good soccer player, has good prospects. He's probably going to become a professional soccer player at some point. And he tragically dies in a car accident. And I believe the younger brother is involved in that accident as well. But in order to save the younger brother's life, obviously the older brother, who's already deceased, heart transplant to him, and that saves his life. Throughout the progression of the anime, he was a soccer player as well, but he wasn't as good as his brother. But throughout the soccer anime as well, there's certain things that you see shift in his character that reminds other people that are around him, his friend group, the girl he has a crush on, of his older brother. There's like certain demeanors. So some could say, I think, that because he has his brother's heart, he has some of his brother's, tendencies, his demeanors, facial changes. So it's a big progression. I like it because he doesn't automatically become a great soccer player. Like he doesn't just like a snap of a finger become like his brother. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of progression. It's a lot of constant battle for him up and down to try to become a better version. At first trying to become like his brother, but then realizing like he doesn't have to be like his brother, becoming a better version of himself. So I do recommend you guys watch this, give this one a watch. It was if you guys are into sport animes, I definitely recommend you guys give this one a watch. I did enjoy it very much. And I think this was one of the first sport animes that I did watch. There's another one that I watched first, and that one I'm gonna put in a later video. But this is, I think, the second sport anime that I watched, and that was years ago. Okay, then from there, we're going to go to an anime called Beatless. It basically takes place in a futuristic timeline where obviously ahead of its time, AI, roboting, all that stuff is now like everyday use now. Some people can even like buy um, AI robots and use them for their own personal benefit, chores, accessories, etc. Um, a lot of the times in that timeline, a lot of these robots are treated very disrespectfully and just as tools. The main character in the story, the main character in the story is the complete opposite. He's a kind-hearted individual, young man, young boy who basically treats them with respect. Doesn't have the money to afford one for his own, but every time he sees some kind of walking, he tries to be as respectful as possible and thinks to himself, man, like I wish they would be treated fairly. He runs into who I believe is the female main character, or the female main robot character, who eventually goes with him, and she becomes his AI, I guess, his robot, his artificial intelligence, and they forge a strong relationship over time. But then we realize that she's one of those machines that escaped from a laboratory of like super high engineered, superior robot beings, and it just becomes a whole entire plot story about like living together, the turmoil, and then just a lot of stuff that happens towards the end that becomes very complicated. It's kind of hard to explain in detail without spoiling too much, but this anime, I wouldn't say, I don't know. I mean, for me, I would probably give it to you guys as a 3-episode rule. I think if you're not into it by the 3rd episode, it's definitely one that you guys could possibly drop. I liked it personally. A lot of these animes I did watch to the very end. There's actually a couple that I didn't, like I stopped halfway, but these, for the most part, a majority of these I did watch to the very end. But that's my opinion on it, me liking it. You guys may forge another one, so that's why I want to give you guys the 3-episode rule if you guys do plan on watching it. Then from there, we go to Snow White with Red Hair. This one was a really good anime. It's a 2-season anime. I believe consisting of 24 total episodes, so 12 per season. It's a really good anime. It basically, in a way, retells the story of Snow White, but in its own beautiful way. I really enjoyed it. I believe it's one of the better romance animes out there that I believe is not talked about enough. I feel like it's one of those underrated, like hidden gem romance animes. I'm not too sure how many of you have actually heard of it, but if you guys ever do get the chance, Snow White with Red Hair, I definitely recommend you guys give it a watch. It was a really good anime. I enjoyed it very, very, very much. I'm gonna put this one under recommend. I would highly recommend you guys give it a watch. It's a beautiful romance anime. Then from there, we're gonna go to 3D Kanojo, Real Girl. Now this is another really good romance anime that I also feel is kind of underrated. Maybe it's just me, but I also feel it's kind of underrated. Obviously, the typical the male character lead, not very popular. Then there's the female main character who's very popular. But as the relationship kind of forms, the first couple episodes, we find out some things about her as the episodes progress. They do eventually, they do end up falling in love. It takes quite a bit to get there. And then there is a massive plot twist at the halfway point, because it's a 24 episode anime. So we get a massive plot twist at the middle halfway point that caught me off guard. And we actually do get a time skip, because most of you guys are aware, I'm aware that a lot of these anime romances, regardless of the timeline, the setting, whether it's a school fantasy, etc., there isn't many animes that give us a fast forward, that give us a time, a time jump. So this one does fast forward into their adulthood, which is very rare for me in romance anime. So we get a little bit of glimpse of that as to what happened throughout each character. There's more characters that get involved throughout the story, them being the two main ones. But it's definitely a tearjerker. It definitely is an emotional one, at least for me. So this one Once again, I highly recommend you guys give a watch. There are some scenes that are pretty frustrating. But that's with any certain romance that you get attached to, I guess. Here's one that... So this one's called Amagami SS. This one is basically it's a dating simulator. It's based off a dating simulator game that was made into an anime where I believe it's 5 different girls. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. 5 different girls. And I believe it's a total of 24 episodes. Or 20 episodes. I don't remember too much about it. I just know that each girl had at least a 3 to 4 episode arc. So basically, you start. I don't know who it starts off with, but the minute you click episode 1, all these girls, and it's funny enough, all these girls they're in the same school, so it's all within the same timeline. It's just different interactions that he has with these different female main character leads that he has interactions with, and depending on which girl he interacts with, well, that's where the story takes place. It's a 3 to 4 episode anime arc. And then, it gets to the ending. And then the next episode, boom, it restarts. Similar setting, meets a different girl, boom, same thing. And honestly, it was definitely a good watch. It definitely gives you a feel of like, yeah, you know what? I really enjoyed this arc. I really enjoyed that arc. This one, I really can't tell you the 3 episode rule because you kind of have to, have to watch. Because there's other girls that have different their own story arc. So that one is completely up to you guys, because I mean, maybe it's not your cup of tea. You don't want to be watching a series with 5 different girls that are just based off a dating simulating game. See, this one's tough. I would recommend it if you're into that, if that makes any sense. If you're into that. I mean, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the anime. There's other animes similar to this, but this is like the main one. And honestly, really good. My personal opinion, really good. Then from there, we go to Welcome to the Ballroom. Have you guys heard of that one? Welcome to the Ballroom. Yes, it is an anime about ballroom dancing. And yeah, I know. I think I just kind of found this one kind of just scrolling through the Funimation app when the Funimation app did exist. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. I thought it was a really good story. And who would have thought that I would have got into an anime that's just strictly about ballroom dancing? The choreography. There was a lot of great choreographic design dances that were in there that were really nice. The fluidity of the dances were beautiful. The character development, it's obviously, with these kind of anime, sometimes like you think, oh, this main character is like, it's boring, man. How is he so good at this after trying it once? No, this one takes a while for the main character to actually develop good dancing skills and become in sync with his partner, because from what I learned in Welcome to the Ballroom, watching this, I learned a lot about ballroom dancing, and there's got to be a certain level, a very high level of chemistry formed throughout the partners, and you have to be in sync. You have to be in tune with one another. You have to form a form of an emotional connection with your partner, and it was really good. There was little bits of drama here and there. Obviously, there was a lot of adversity. There was a lot of things that happened that were like, damn, man, like, really got you, really gets you. And I would have never thought I would have had this kind of reaction to an anime about ballroom dancing, and I really did enjoy it very much. And that's one I would really recommend for you guys to watch. Honestly, I'm going to put this one as a must watch. Like I said, this one may not be everyone's cup of tea, but from a pure storytelling perspective, the development of every character, really good. It's a must watch. Welcome to the Ballroom, man. That was, yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that one. I might have to go back and rewatch some of it, because I do remember it being very, very, very good. And here's another one that I watched that was a lot of episodes that I wasn't thinking was going to be a lot. But Bakuman. Bakuman basically is the story of 2 best friends that basically want to become well-renowned, known mangaka artists, and that is their goal. And he makes a promise to his crush that once he becomes what he wants to be, once he gets to the top of where he wants to be, he's gonna come back and he's gonna propose to her. Obviously, their feelings are mutual. I believe the female main character lead, she has her own journey that she wants to follow, her own dreams that she wants to follow throughout, that she does, while he's working so hard to get to his. And it's a long progression of like lots of failures, lots of ups, lots of downs, some progression, some regression. The ending really is a complete, like, it's like a relief. It is a beautiful ending to a hard-working story of two guys trying to get to the very top and doing everything they can to get to the very top. And obviously the payoff is just amazing. I would recommend you guys give this one a watch. I really would recommend you guys give this one a watch. And then we go to Amagami Brilliant Park. Really good anime. Follows the main character. He is a former child actor who has left that life behind. He gets contracted to go save this amusement park that was once at the height of its glory and now is just regressing and almost at the brink of shutdown. They contract him to try to basically restore its glory. He's resistant to it. Takes some time for him to finally kind of like, budge and actually want to do what's best for that park, because obviously he realizes that the people that are trying to buy it out are not good people. The characters are very quirky. There's a lot of hilarious episodes that happen, a lot of funny scenes. If you're into that kind of comedy, hint of romance, more comedy, more strictly based on him trying to basically restore the park to its former glory. It's another one I would recommend. And finally, we're down to the last one, the 10th anime. We are with Cross Ange. That one is a 24 episode anime. It takes place it's a fantasy based anime. Basically a disgraced former princess that gets booted out for being a regular or an irregular, I believe. I forgot which term it was, but she doesn't have any form of mana, no magic or anything. She gets shipped off to a place where they send all these like low end people, low life humans to basically go fight an endless war to protect what she used to be, the nobility, the normal civilization. And there's a war happening that they don't even know about because these people are risking their lives to keep them out of the loop and keep them safe, right? And we find out later that I guess her family were the ones that were trying their best to basically, keep the secret within the family that she doesn't have any mana. And eventually it gets out. She gets disgraced. I believe her family is taken or assassinated, or I forgot how it opened, but it's a lot of stuff that happens throughout. A long progressing story that happens. She eventually meets the main character, the male main character lead. It's very 50-50 between them. Then their relationship continues to grow. They grow a bond, having to be with each other. Countless battles. A lot happens throughout the entirety of the story. There is some ecchi in this anime, but it's not really like the main focal point. It actually is a good story. There are some significant things that happen that kind of caught me off guard as far as like character developments and deaths. So I would recommend you guys give this one a watch. So there we go. That's all 10 anime for today. That is 15 anime out of the. I actually have to go back and actually count because I know I kind of just scrolled and saw that there was a lot, but this is anime 10 out of like at least 200. So as the videos progress, I'm probably going to be increasing the amount of animes that we're going to tier rank. So it went from 5, it was 10 today, It could be 20 next time, maybe 30. I'm just going to try to expand it so that we can kind of like get all these anime out of the way. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below. Are there any animes here that you've never heard of and you can't, you're going to give a shot? Is there an anime that you've already seen from this tier list and you have a different opinion from mine? Completely fine. We're all here to talk in the discourse and get to know each other, our likes, our dislikes, our preferences. But that was part 2 of all the anime tier ranking lists that I'm going to... anime tier ranking list. My bad, guys. This is part 2 of all tier ranking all the animes that I have seen. We're down with 15. Only a couple hundred more to go. See you guys next time.